Welcome to this session, 10 Benefits and Perks Certified Legal Nurse Consultants Enjoy. A national survey done by the Institute of more than 3,300 registered nurses revealed that registered nurses are extremely stressed out, sometimes dangerously so. Now, why are nurses so stressed out? I'm sure you could tell me, right? But the survey revealed things such as lack of sleep, long working hours, lack of proper diet, unsupportive management, unrealistic workloads, lack of authority, lack of respect, insufficient compensation. The list is endless. These are all part of the profile of today's typical registered nurse. Now, if you add a pandemic on top of it all, you know what you get. Before the pandemic, nurses were definitely reporting that they were suffering burnout. Since the pandemic, we're seeing some alarming facts. We have nurses that are reporting post-traumatic stress disorder. We have nurses that are leaving the profession altogether as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, in contrast, certified legal nurse consultants, they live in very much different world. They are independent. They have a voice in their role, and as such, they enjoy 10 benefits and perks that the average RN does not enjoy. And that's what I want to talk about with you in this session. Perk number one, everyone's favorite, is freedom and independence. In the survey, nurses reveal that long hours, specifically 12-hour shifts, interfere with their personal life, and as a result, they feel very much out of balance. And one of the things that was revealed was that the 12-hour shifts seem to take a toll on the RNs that are 40 and older, much more so than on the younger registered nurses. One RN addresses the impact that her RN job has had. She said, "Not enjoying time with friends or family, about to get married and cannot get time off, feeling like I'm always on call even when I'm not, getting texts from my boss at night on my personal time, constantly getting interrupted when I'm trying to do my job, always missing out on the important things in life. It's hell being a nurse, period." Now, these are not my words. These are the words of one of your RN colleagues. In contrast, listen to what Susanna Raj says. Suzanne says, "For me, being a certified legal nurse consultant is synonymous with the word freedom, the freedom to choose. This freedom delivers the independence, satisfaction, and flexibility that a traditional nursing position cannot provide." Suzanne says, "I'm free to choose to work anywhere and anytime. I'm free to choose not to work today, but tomorrow instead. I'm free to enjoy a summer morning and the warmth of the sun, even while working, while analyzing a case. I'm free to get a massage anytime I feel like it. I'm free to spend the day with my sons, daughter, and granddaughter without having to worry." Doreen Goldstein adds, "Becoming a legal nurse consultant gives you the ability to work where you want, when you want." Doreen says, "In the summer, I spend most of my work days outside working on cases. I love sitting by the pool, taking in the fresh air while researching injuries and going through medical records." Doreen says, "I schedule breaks so that I can go for a swim. I would much rather sit by the pool and work than work a 12-hour shift at the hospital." Dale Barnes, she's taken 2 month-long trips to Africa, and I love what she said. She goes, "How could I have ever done that if I worked for anyone other than myself?" And I think that's kind of the point of owning your own business. Again, that freedom and independence to enjoy life a little bit more on your own terms. And Dale says, "These once-in-a-lifetime experiences are available to me because I'm a certified legal nurse consultant." Perk number one, freedom and independence. Perk number two, you're your own boss. When you're your own boss, you have a flexibility and control over your life, and you can work as much or as little as you want. You're in control over how you do things, on what you choose to accomplish, what your life goals are. You decide how to run your business. You decide the kinds of cases you're consulting on. You decide the attorneys that you consult with. So pretty much you're kind of in control. Margaret Gallagher says, prior to becoming a certified legal nurse consultant, the quality of my days, nights, and weekends, aka 24/7, 365, were dependent on events, problems, expectations of other people, administration, staff, the MDs, patients. Margaret says, in other words, I had no life. As an independent consultant, Margaret says, I plan, control, and organize my own schedule. Sure, there are going to be times when extraordinary demands come into play, but no one calls me in the middle of the night demanding I show up at the hospital. Margaret says, now I have time to savor the sunrise. I work the hours I want and choose where I want to work. And she actually tells us that she works in St. Martin in November. In February, she spends that month in Aruba, and she only works in the morning. Now, I think that is definitely a benefit. Deborah Good-Zahner adds, becoming a certified legal nurse consultant has put me in the driver's seat of my professional and personal life. No holidays, weekends, 12-hour shifts, or hoping no one else wants the same vacation week I requested. We've all been there, right? Deborah says, I have taken control of my life, and that is a well-deserved and well-earned change for the better. Perk number 3, financial security. The national survey identified that among the many factors contributing to nurses' stress, money is one of them, with 40% of respondents feeling that they are not fairly compensated. An additional 44% feel that, yeah, we're fairly compensated, but they felt that they could use additional remuneration. Now, considering the critical role that RNs play in our population's health, it's really heartbreaking to me to think that nurses in many environments today are still grossly underpaid for what they do. The pandemic has changed that for some RNs, but at what cost? I mean, they're obviously being paid huge amounts of money right now, but for a reason, and that's because otherwise they're not going to be willing to work in some of this horrific environment that they're currently working in. Now, in contrast, CLNC consultants charge up to $150 an hour, and they're not stuck at that rate. They can increase their fees every year, many as much as 5% per year. Now, Dale Barnes, she made a comment. She said, you know, when I became a CLNC consultant in 1999, it was a reaction to my frustration in hospital administration. Every time my hospital was bought, sold, or merged, I was downsized right out of a job. I think Dale shows that just because you have a job in a hospital or in, let's say, another healthcare environment, that doesn't make you financially more secure. In fact, those of us who own our own business, we believe we're more financially secure because we own our own business. No one can downsize us, so to speak. Marcia Bell says, while I did not become a certified legal nurse consultant for the money, the financial gain is a bonus I've enjoyed. I've remodeled my home and traveled, something I have wanted to do since I was a child. Being a CLNC consultant has given me those perks. Jane Hurst points out, in the hospital, my annual income was a set number, and I think many of us understand that. Jane says, I might get a small increase every year, but there's no comparison to being a certified legal nurse consultant, where the harder I work, the more I can make. She says, I've increased my income substantially each year, and I know that my income has not topped out. I have unlimited income potential. And I think, again, you know, that makes people feel that they have more control over money in their life when they feel like they do have more unlimited potential, right? For many RNs, many tell me that one of the reasons they feel stressed out is because they don't have that control to earn more unless they're willing to work overtime, which has its own toll on the psyche and on the body, right? Camille Joyner adds, when you become a certified legal nurse consultant, you choose how much you earn. I make more money than I could ever have earned in an RN job. In a traditional RN job, 2%, 3% pay raise, this is the best that will be offered. Camille says, this changed after becoming a CLNC consultant because my earnings are the direct result of the amount of effort I want to expend. And it's always much more than 2 to 3%. I might also add that you can leverage more income by subcontracting cases outside of your specialty with other CLNC consultants. So you're not even limited by the hours that you have to work or you can work, right? Subcontracting is definitely covered in the CLNC certification program. And in the program, you will learn how to leverage the time and talent of your fellow CLNC consultant colleagues to grow your own legal nurse consulting business. Perk number 4, respect and appreciation. Now, as nurses, we all know who's in the trenches saving lives, right? And yet, it's the stereotype of the rude MD or the manager berating the nurse that is unfortunately more common than any of us care to acknowledge. Marcia Bell, she says, I enjoy being viewed as a professional much more often than I was in the hospital setting. So, I've had nurses say to me, hey, attorneys, I think they're intimidating. I can promise you, you're going to get a level of respect and appreciation from these attorneys that you may not have experienced in the healthcare setting where you're currently employed. Jill Barnes says, the attorneys I work with, they're incredible. They appreciate the work I do. They say thank you. They refer me to their colleagues. Where would I ever get that response, receiving recognition from an MD or an administrator? Great question, Dale. Millie Mannon adds, the professional growth and respect for self that I have gained is great. Being a CLNC consultant has taught me that I can do anything I set my mind to. It gives me a feeling of strength and fulfillment that no other job has ever done. I just love that, to think that somebody really feels that they have a strength within themselves because of their job change. That's just such an incredible benefit in my mind. Perk number 5, less stress. Now, the stress of the entire healthcare system, whether it's the job structure, the work environment, or if it's pandemic related, it's all conspiring to burn out registered nurses. One RN says, no breaks, nothing to eat or drink, peeing one time because you're overwhelmed with your workload. We always joke that RNs have fantastic bladders, but I'm sure many of you can relate to what this RN described. Now, Dale Barnes, she says, becoming a certified legal nurse consultant, before that, my work life was frazzled. She said that hospital bureaucratic red tape was always getting in my way. Dale said, I never had enough time for anything, and I was in this perpetual state of stress. My RN job affected my free time and my ability to do a lot of the things I enjoyed doing, including having more time with family and friends. Becoming a CLNC consultant changed all of that. I began to relax and the stress decreased. For the first time in years, Dale says, I was actually in charge of my own time. Now, my life is much less cluttered. My time is my own. The work stress is gone, and I could not be happier. Becky Jones, she described, deciding to change the direction of my nursing career came from a place of feeling overwhelmed by my RN job work environment, which was negative and oppressive. Becky says, I felt it all bearing down on me, resulting in anxiety and depression. Every case that I consult on now gives me a feeling of purpose and excitement. Becky says, I said goodbye to the negatives surrounding me and now start each day knowing that I'm in control. Perk number 6, happier. Stress and interference with personal life contribute to unhappiness among registered nurses. In contrast, certified legal nurse consultants report being happier. Now, I think we all would agree that you can never put a price on happiness, right? I mean, happiness is a goal that every one of us should have for our lives. But, we don't live two-compartment lives, right? So we have our work life, we have our personal life with families, friends, and our personal interests and hobbies. And we can't segregate those two. We don't live these two-compartment lives. So if we're unhappy in our work life, that's going to seep into our personal life. And that's why I believe that happiness on the job is so important. And I love the experience that Doreen Goldstein described in becoming a CLNC and what that meant to her level of happiness. She said, I was working full-time at the hospital as well as taking care of a husband and 3 kids, ages 11, 9, and 7. This might sound familiar to some of you. Doreen said, I managed to attend various events that my kids were involved in, but sleep was almost non-existent, and I felt as though I was just going through the motions, not really enjoying anything. Doreen said, when I first went full-time as a consultant, I was making dinner while my kids were at the counter doing homework. My daughter Abby looked up and said, Mom, do you like your new job? I asked her why she was asking that question, and she said, because you're so much happier now. Doreen said, I agreed. Working from home really helped me become a calmer, happier mom. Now my children are grown and have learned from me how important it is to love what you do. What a fantastic legacy to leave your children, right? That it's important to love what you do. Doreen says, there isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about that step to take the Institute's advice and go for it. Owning my own legal nurse consulting business has made all of this possible. Perk number 7, healthier. Long hours, poor diet, lack of sleep. This is the norm for registered nurses. Now, CLNC consultants report becoming healthier, again, just by moving away from that traditional RN job into owning their own business, right? Now, some might think of this as a surprising perk, but actually, when you think about it, it's really not. Because if you have control over your hours, you have time to eat healthy, you have time to sleep 7 or 8 hours. I mean, some people tell me it's been a very long time since they slept even 7 hours, right? So Susan Schaub, I think she describes this so well. She said, how has my life changed? Besides the usual areas of more time, more money, more control, and more fun, I would also say better diet and better fitness. Susan says as nurses, we can do anything and eat anything. I never met a cake, brownie, donut, pie, or bread I didn't want to indulge in. On a bad day, I would roll from treat to more junk food, back to treat, all while working with obese, diabetic patients. Susan says when attorneys meet you, they make split-second decisions about how successful and serious you are about your business. My goal was to market to partners of national law firms, so I became part of my business plan. Susan said this helped to make health and appearance a priority. She started working out with a personal trainer, and in her words, she said it was amazing to see my muscle definition return at age 53 and say goodbye to the jiggly butt and the fat jeans. Perk number 8, professionally challenged. Jane Hurst shares, as a hospital employee, I took great pride in my work. I did everything to be the best I could be and provided the best nursing care possible. After a few years, I felt like I was no longer learning and my job became monotonous. I've been a certified legal nurse consultant for nearly 25 years and I've never felt one moment of monotony. I work on many different types of cases, provide a variety of services, and I love learning something new each and every day. Doreen Goldstein also comments on the professional challenge. She says, every case is different and there's no room for boredom. The majority of my cases are personal injury for defense, and they all offer a variety of different issues. For example, Doreen says, I consult on a lot of elevator cases, and even though the mechanism of injury might be the same, that is, a slip and fall coming out of an uneven elevator, the plaintiffs are quite different. Margaret Gallagher remarks, I've reviewed close to 1,200 medical malpractice cases. Each one is unique. My ability to embrace my passion for excellence has earned me respect and appreciation from my attorney clients. I love the satisfaction of a legal nurse consulting job well done. She said one of the major frustrations as an RN was she could not really provide the level of care that she wanted, right? Like she couldn't even grade herself as an A. Whereas with a consulting job with attorneys, she can produce that perfect A+ report for attorneys. They respect that she needs to put in the time and the effort to do the job the right way. Perk number 9, make a difference. RNs are wired to make a difference in people's lives. It's in your DNA, right? You didn't get into nursing to make money. You got into nursing to make a difference. And one of the things that I think many RNs tell me that they're very happy to learn is that when they come into legal nurse consulting, they do get to make a huge difference in people's lives. You have to be able to do that because it's what you're wired for. Millie Madden declares, I've been a legal nurse consultant since 2006. I'm one of the few consultants who continues to work in a hospital. She says, I would not trade legal nurse consulting for any other specialty. It makes me a better nurse both inside and outside of the hospital. I have the best of both worlds. Carolyn Bilodeau adds, while reviewing records for either plaintiff or defense, I'm conscious of the fact that real people have been hurt. They're looking for answers, healing, and affirmation. My role is to work with humility, diligence, and conscientiousness to ferret out the facts and present them objectively. When I have done this well, I'm proud and gratified about the final results. Perk number 10, no other RN job offers this many perks. I think that's the best perk of all. As a registered nurse, you really do have a choice. You no longer have to be overworked, undercompensated, underappreciated, and marginalized by the same healthcare system that continues to neglect you and your needs. If you choose to become a certified legal nurse consultant, you too can enjoy the 10 benefits and perks that the typical registered nurse does not report in their RN job. Thank you for joining me here today, and if you have additional questions, please feel free to contact the Institute.